I just wanted to answer the questions that I didn't get to yesterday. So just starting with this anonymous child who only wants to stay seated in a comfy chair, non-verbal, shows no particular interest in anything. Will BrainCam assist him to participate better? So you're going to have to get him to participate first. And the one thing that all of the children seem to really, really love is the ball roll. So I would take the ball roll and try just one thing with that child first, just one thing, and see how you go, just to entice him or her, to get them to feel what it feels like. With the non-verbal children, one of my tutors, Bernie Beddoes, she's a principal, and she takes little ones in at junior infants level with autism. And she tells me that she actually gets down on the floor with the children who are non-verbal and does the exercises with them, rather than, obviously telling them. You can use PECS cards. I've heard some folk who've come back to me and said that they use them, but that's what I would do with that child, is start maybe with the child sitting at the ball so that he or she just gets used to it and trusts it first, and then just take one thing at a time. Definitely wouldn't start with the A, something maybe in the B, even if it's just a log roll for a few days, just to get the child integrated and into it. Emily, parent question. I will try to do it in the morning before school, but my child finds it hard in the morning and is difficult to get out of bed, etc. Any advice? So Emily, come back to me. If you drop me an email, I will walk you through the parent side of things. I know I haven't got one created yet, BrainCam for Parents, so I'd ask some parents to jump on here, and I'll cover that off with you afterwards. Okay, Elaine, if a child completes the program, do they need it in subsequent years at school, or is it necessary only once? So Elaine, that's a really, really good question. It should be necessary once, okay? The way that I have it kind of divided out is that you could do block 1 in term 1, so that would take you up to Halloween. Block 2 up to Christmas, where there's lots of dysregulation coming up to the play. Block 3 in January and on, where it's badly needed. A lot of kids come back to school really, really, really fizzy after Christmas break. The first week after school is usually a really, really tough week for everyone. And block 4 then in the last week of term. So I've kind of devised it that way. Not everybody's going to start in September, I know. You guys will. But so what I would say is that they should need it only once, Elaine, okay? And by the end of it, and here's one of the golden eggs with BrainCam, that the child knows how to regulate him or herself after they've completed BrainCam. So they should know the thing to go to help calm and regulate their behaviour or themselves, because you have put them into the position. And say, for example, they might need to sit on the therapy ball and bounce one day, and another day they might need to lie over the therapy ball and roll back and forwards a different day, depending on what their needs are. So the whole end goal, Elaine, is that the child, by the end of the 24 weeks or 30 weeks or 40 weeks or however long you take them through it, should be able to go to the thing that self-regulates themselves, and they should be able to do this for life. But Elaine, they're still going to need some sensory breaks. It's not brain surgery after BrainCam is over, so just be mindful of that. But the child should be able to tell you what they need themselves, okay? If block 1, this is from Anonymous, if block 1 lasts 7 to 8 weeks, then do you move on to block 2 for another half term and then progress for block 3 for the same number of weeks? I know it's ability and progression led, and you can give an idea of time, for planning. So basically, Anonymous, what I'd say to you there is it envisaged as a year-long program or termly or block? So that's a great question. The way that I sort of devised it doesn't work out for every child depending on their ability, but that it falls into a term. So block 1 through term 1, block 2 through term 2, block 3 through term 3, block 4 through term 4. However, you could well have a child that they're still not getting the exercises right, or not getting, progressing on with it, and they might need block one from September right through to Christmas, or whatever. Okay, so I hope that that makes sense. But yeah, roughly I developed it so that it would fall into a block per term. But a lot of ASD staff come to me, as I said, and they will use block one for a whole year, block two for a whole year, block three for a whole year, and block four for a whole year, because the learning difficulties of that child means it takes longer to learn the exercise. But roughly it is for a year. I created it that way. That's a great question. When will Sensory Made Simple be available again? So Helena, thanks for that. Probably it will be the end of August before I put that back up again. I'm going to be working on parents from here on until we start getting ready for going back to school again. Visuals to Go, visuals the number 2, Go. Visuals to Go is the name of the